Welcome to Blackbriar Gaming. We've all heard rumours that certain Legion-specific units and characters that don't yet have miniatures haven't made it into the second edition of Horus Heresy. Well, with the recent leaks, we can now confirm who did and who did not make the cut. We also know that a number of generic units didn't make it into the second edition, but as I don't have access to those final rules yet, I will not be making any assumptions on those. Just a quick note before we get into it. A subscribe and a like really helps us reach a bigger audience. So if you enjoyed the video, please hit those buttons down below. I've compiled a list of all Legion units and characters that do not have miniatures, and we'll discuss which of those have or have not made it into the current rules we're seeing for Horus Heresy 2.0. If I've missed any particular unit or character that doesn't have a miniature, please let me know in the comments and I'll see if I can track it down. For the most part, most units that don't have miniatures unfortunately did not make it into the Horus Heresy 2.0, Loyalist and Traitor rulebooks, with a few notable exceptions. And just in case you're wondering, you won't see the Imperial Fists or Sons of Horus in this video, because, as far as I could tell, their miniature lines are complete. Alrighty, take a breath, here we go. So, starting with the Loyalists. Dark Angels didn't do so well, so there were a few units, and we see actually pretty commonly the Loyalists lose out a little more here. It seems that Forge World got a little keen with some extra units for Loyalists for rules, but wasn't able to back it up with miniatures. So for the Dark Angels, they have lost their unique Firewing and Ironwing units, the Cabal and the Automata there. They did also lose the Paladin of the Hatonistica. Please forgive my pronunciation throughout this video. There's a lot of different names and a lot of crazy stuff going on. But as a win for the Dark Angels, they did manage to keep rules for Corswain, which I'm assuming means we'll see a Corswain model in the very near future. Moving on to White Scars. The White Scars did unfortunately lose Solomon Khan and the Falcon's Claws, which is a bit disappointing. They did keep their Stormseer Centurion, even though we don't have a particular Stormseer model. We see this commonly throughout the rules, and I haven't listed all of them. I did note this one down just as an exception to talk about. But most of the Centurions kept rules, even though some of them don't have unique models. We see it kind of with the Space Wolves, as well as with the White Scars here. So those converted up Stormseers will still be good to go. For the Space Wolves, they did lose the rules, it looks like, and this doesn't feel right, but I certainly couldn't track it down. It looks like they lost their rules for the Priest of Fenris. Now, I may be misreading it a bit here, or I may not be quite across the Space Wolf rules. They did include rules for the Caster of Runes, the Speaker of the Dead, and the Pack Fen. So what I think they've done is, in fact, break out this Priest of Fenris Centurion and broken it out into at least the Caster of Runes and the Speaker of the Dead. So there are rules for that. So if you've got those Centurions all modelled up, you'll still be able to use them. Next up, the Blood Angels, Judicia Astacrone. So unfortunately, we never saw a miniature for this guy, even though he's quite an interesting character. I did see a bunch of amazing conversions. I'm sorry, the rules are not in 2.0. Moving on to the second batch of the Loyalists, this is just sadness across the pack here. So the Iron Hands, Ultramarines, Salamanders, and Raven Guard all took some pretty serious hits from the 2.0 rules. Going through them, so the Iron Hands lost their Spearhead, Centurion, Castman Orth, and Ironfather Ortek Moore. The Ultramarines lost Honored Telemachus, the Locutaris Storm Squad, the Felmentaris Terminator Strike Squad, which I know is a big hit for Ultramarines players, because I did see quite a lot of these converted up. They were pretty spicy, their rules were pretty fantastic, so I'm sure there'll be some sad Ultramarine players on this one here. And the Damocles Command Rhino. That might have moved to a generic entry or an upgrade, we'll wait and see, but certainly the rules aren't within the Ultramarine section anymore. The Salamanders lost Cassian Dracus and Lord Chaplain Nomus Ratan, and the Raven Guard lost their special rules for their Darkwing Storm Eagle gunship, Strike Captain Alvarex Morn, and their Moritat Prime, Cadus Nex. That's the Loyalist done. So as you can see, quite a bit of units that didn't make it across, but essentially those with miniatures all made it in. Moving on to the Traitors. So you'll see there's a lot less units for the Traitors. That's because their rules weren't as fleshed out as the Loyalists. as we commonly see across all of Games Workshop's products, and Forge World apparently is victim to that. But the units that we have lost in the rules in the transition to the new edition, for the Emperor's Children, Rylanor the Unyielding, Iron Warriors, and this is a bit of a hit because there were plenty of these units put up, and they had some great rules, but the Iron Warriors lost the Iron Havoc support squad, disappointing, Erasmus Gold, and Curvalen, which is really most of their special units. They don't have much left. Of course, those that made the Iron Havoc support squads will just be able to use them as heavy support squads, I suppose, with the new rules. The Night Lords lost out on Flamemaster, Mordrum Lancahai, Nakrid Thol, and Karen it's getting hard. Karen Ophian of the Cryop Terror. Wow, what a mouthful that is. So Night Lords lost a few units there. World Eaters didn't have that much to begin with, but they lost out on their Centurion, Shabrandar. Lastly, and not that many units left now, so the Death Guard lost Section Leader Chrysos Morturg, but Marshal Durek Rask. So a couple of flavoursome characters there going for the Death Guard. Thousand Suns only lost one unit. They're doing pretty well for themselves, but the Amatara Occult Intercession Cabal is gone. Wordbearers only lost out on Hol Beloth and Alpha Legion, and this was a big question that I've seen asked a lot of times. Did we lose Exodus for Alpha Legion? No. No Exodus is in the 2.0 rules, so much like Corswain, I dare say we will see an Exodus model coming up pretty soon, and I'm pretty excited for that. I know a lot of people have converted one up, so they'll be happy. That's a win for the Traitors there, and we'll no doubt see a very cool Exodus model coming out soon. And that brings us to the end of our Heresy chats for today. Thank you so much for watching. A reminder that rules and miniatures for some of these characters and units might still be coming. Indeed, their rules may in fact be included in the Legends PDF that we've heard about, though I understand that's probably seen more as a consolation prize than an actual win. Furthermore, just a disclaimer, the leaks that we've got are a bit of a mess and may indeed not be whole, though at first glance, I believe they are, so I wouldn't be holding out hope from that perspective. I think that Legends PDF that we've heard about is our best chance to get some of these rules that we've seen for these units that are getting cut from the official rulebooks. So if you've converted something amazing up, or have a personal favourite that I've listed here today, don't despair yet. Do, however, let us know in the comments if there's a unit or character that you're really going to miss. Make sure to keep rolling those dice and getting hyped for Heresy.